And we've also seen 750,000 Israelis in the streets, which, just to put it in perspective, I think that's about 25 million Americans in the streets. It's kind of hard to fathom the magnitude of that. So I wanted to ask you, Rula, what can you tell us about your work during this difficult time? What possibilities do you see? What gives you hope and strength? And what can all of us in America do to help?
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, thanks for having me and giving us also the place and space to talk. And again, thanks for the wonderful people who I hadn't had, the time to listen to all of them. I am sorry for that. But I will try to answer your questions with the time that I have. But I do want to start maybe with, saying maybe something in many ways sometimes as a grassroots movement, as people who stand up to work, we forget to acknowledge also maybe some of the feelings that people do have. But we all know and understand that the month following October 7th has been, until this day, a never-ending nightmare. I think there are many ways to say and explain it. But to all of us, Palestinians and Jews across Israel, Gaza, and the West Bank, all of us have endured an unprecedented violence, loss, and trauma. And these feelings have happened to all of us. We've been deeply hurt by the loss of life across the land, both from a Hamas horrific attack, both from what we are seeing right now, and yes, the bombing and the starvation that is still happening in Gaza until this day. And with each and every day that passes, in many times we feel as if there is no hope, as if our fight is not meeting an end that we want or dream of. But at the same time, and I say it in many places, standing together has started in late 2015. And we've been through many struggles. We've worked for equality, ending of the occupation, environmental justice, different issues within the Israeli society. And when the 7th of October happened, we reacted. We stood up, we talked to our people, and we kind of understood the first 3 days that there is a message, and our message was very clear, but also very simple, that there is another way. We have seen our country, this government, one of the worst governments in history of Israel, launch countless wars and military operations only to end in the same position. And we can see right now, one of Bibi's most famous sentences is that this time we will eradicate Hamas. And then, as the war goes in, Hamas becomes stronger. And right now, that is happening also. Hamas is stronger in the West Bank. And with this government, with Ben Gvir, he's been able to succeed where Hamas, unfortunately, hasn't been. He was able to initiate real violence in the West Bank. 10 months and Hamas is becoming stronger in the West Bank, but there was no real violence or riots. And it happened only when Ben Gvir and the settlers decided to go inside the Palestinian villages and to have violence within these homes and even, protected by the army. But we understand that there is another way. There is another way to everybody who is living here, because we also believe in a very basic fact. On this land, you have two people living. You have the Jewish people and you have the Palestinian people. None of us is going anywhere, and for both of us, this is a homeland. This is a place that we call home, and I'm not about to give up or leave or go somewhere else, because this is home for me. And standing together is a place where we fight for the home that we live in, both Jews and Palestinians. I think the ability to speak a different language, especially after the 7th of October, where a place where we had Hamas speaking about eradicating all Jews and the Israeli government bombing Gaza and speaking about conquering Gaza and having the whole Israel, we stood up and we said, these Messianic ideas are not going to take us anywhere. And in order to have a future for everybody who is living here. We need, first of all, to ask for a ceasefire for this war to stop, for hostage deal so they can come back home, and for the Palestinians, innocent Palestinians, will stop dying. Today we see horrible numbers, 40,000 deaths in Gaza and thousands of Israelis, and with each and every day we see more people being killed. And the 7th of October, coming with this message, many people, and I say that in a way that gives me also hope, Standing Together has grown. We have more people in our movement. Before the 7th of October, we were 3,500 approximately members, paying members to Standing Together, and today we are 6,000. Our chapters has grown. Our students who are part of Standing Together has become in numbers in thousands. And one of the main protests, we went out to the streets calling for a ceasefire and hostage deal, had brought thousands of people. It's not just the humanitarian guard that enabled us to let people, and people were able to do something in order to feel that they can do something in this horrible war, but it's also understanding that you do that in a group of people. You do it with activists, you are not alone. And many times, in this horrible war, when you come to a point where you kind of have despair within you, and you want to sit down and do nothing because you're tired, you look around you and you see a group of people, tens of people, hundreds of people, and thousands of people, and it enables you